G'day Jason and Jonathan, this is the group and we're going to kick off our little conference for you.
First up we're going to discuss my task, which is set for Year 7 and required my students to design and create a sustainable lunchbox. There are 5 stages in this assessment task, and for the purposes of this moderation I'm going to concentrate on discussing the investigative stage. So the investigative stage for my students will require them to use World Wide Web to gain data about the concept of sustainability and the surrounding issues regarding sustainability. Once they have gathered their research and data, they will use their research and findings in their design journals to show me what they have learnt about sustainability as a concept generally, and also sustainable processes or principles that they will use in creating their sustainable lunchboxes.
So these sustainable elements, they're part of your formative assessment, or is that an ongoing form of assessment throughout the whole thing?
It is an ongoing form of assessment in all 5 stages of my assessable task. The students will be given a set of questions at each stage, which they are to answer in their design journals for me. So I can see at each stage, such as investigating, designing, evaluating, creating and reflecting stages, that they are carrying out certain processes and procedures.
So their formative assessment is not only written but also observation based, because that's what I'm basing mine on as well.
Yep.
Predominantly observation, but there will be a degree of written response.
There will be observation included. And you're using research for your task
I'm doing research.
as well?
I'm pretty much using all them steps as well. They have to research it, they have to plan it, design it, and at the end pretty much build it, and then they have to evaluate it and reflect on how they went with building it as well.
So with your design journal, are they bringing that up to you and are you marking off on that, or is it just they're doing it and handing it in at the end?
No, at each stage I've asked that my students complete the relevant details or note their observations and ideas for that particular stage, and before they progress on to the next stage they bring it to me for review, just to ensure that everyone's on track and not deviating on any tangents or being distracted by elements that are not part of the assessment task.
Do you feel...
Yeah. I've got a booklet in my one as well that the students need to complete, but do you have yours as well where you can actually, I've got them reflecting back on what they're actually finding and then evaluating what they do and seeing if they can put in any other processes?
There are 2 stages in my assessable task that ask them to do that. So there's an evaluation process after the research and design process is undertaken. So that as a whole class they can all have a look at one another's first draft designs and final draft designs to ensure that everyone is on task. And that's where evaluation comes in. At the end of all 5 processes, the reflecting exercise takes place, where questions such as, if I had to do this task again, what have I learnt and what could I have done better or differently?
Fantastic.
Do you feel like you could maybe expecting a little bit much of them, like for an indicative A response? Because I'm just comparing it to mine and I feel like my expectations are a little bit lower than yours.
I think my assessment overall involves a lot of components, and I think that there are 5 stages which are quite evident in my student booklet.
It's quite scaffolded.
It is scaffolded and guided throughout, so at any point in time the students are either working individually, in groups, or a whole class. And I've specifically done that at certain stages to ensure that everyone is on the same level at a certain stage.
So basically my assessment bank item is involved with making an arcade game, and basically they'll create and design a arcade game and they'll engage their audience and it will have an entertainment value, and at the end they'll have a tournament, and within that there'll be an assessment on each other's arcade games, and through the evaluation process they'll be given the opportunity to modify their arcade game to make it a more enhancing product.
And I think we've all used that same sort of self-evaluation process.